I'm part of the Intel team project. My role is essentially I'm the data scientist for the Intel team. So I'm going to present the water disaggregation in residential settings. So, what is disaggregation? It's a picture of a water flow time series. Is a real data coming from one pilot home in France, courtesy from our colleague Eric Pasquale. And you can see spikes. You can see the spikes that correspond to different events to detect. So the idea is to understand and to classify these events to say, okay, the spike is a shower, the spike is a washing machine, and so forth and so on. So why? Well, this morning our keynote touched this topic, and probably it's not so straightforward to find a business justification for that, because we don't know exactly if the user is going to use that. But okay, the point is that a research project like this was really the good way to take this opportunity to study this and to find if the information provided, you can extract this kind of knowledge, and at which cost and which are the caveats to perform, to do a practical implementation of that. So of course we are going to talk about machine learning and data mining. So the problem seems quite easy because it's not really something that requires deep learning, artificial intelligence. You probably know about supervised classification. That means, okay, we can go back here. We can just train a model, and the model, we have to train the model with data and say, okay, look, this is a shower, this is a washing machine. Then the model can predict after this training phase. But so it's quite easy, straightforward. You can just collect the flow data, maybe 1 per second, maybe 1 per millisecond, and then you can wire all the appliances to collect the ground truth from all the devices or the appliances in your home. Then you can try your classifier and then deploy the model and enjoy the 90% and more accuracy. And then you have to pass to another home. But let's have a look to some details. Because, yeah, it's straightforward, but what you have really in a practical, in a realistic environment, you probably have a water meter, a smart meter, maybe also an energy meter, and the water flow is the variable you can observe. And then, if you want to try a classifier, you have, of course, to deploy a lot of sensors, so appliance level sensor, data level sensor, flow switches, flow meters. And it's quite costly, of course, because, of course, in a lab environment, you can do whatever you want. You can wire everything using the sampling rate you prefer, and so forth and so on. You don't have any constraints in terms of battery. But in real life, it's not. And so you have really to be careful and to find which are the realistic constraints. So in fact, we had a lot of discussion with our partners in Welsh Water, because as data scientists, we said, okay, we want everything. But we realized that, for instance, the smart meter for water flow, if we get the data every second, for instance, as it's a battery-operated meter, the battery life drops to 2 weeks. So we found a good trade-off from 10 years without, I don't remember if probably the sampling rate was twice per day, but with 1 reading per minute, we got kind of workaround, and we can get a battery life of 2 years, if I'm not wrong. So also the other steps are quite critical, because, okay, we can get 1 per minute, and let's see which is the performances in this case. but you have to, of course, to observe your ground truth, so your sensors, for at least 3 or 6 months to build a labeled data set. And that means 6 months is because maybe you want to catch also some seasonality in your data. And okay, so seems easy, but it's not that easy. By the way, it's not a big data problem. It is a small data problem. It's tough because if you move from 1 per second observation rate to 1 per minute, of course you are losing a lot of information. It has become more difficult to detect and to classify events. Of course, if you go with 10 minutes, you lose everything. But the real problem is not the accuracy, but it's more in portability. Because the real research question is, okay, assume we can build a classifier, but it's not practical to wire all the homes in Cardiff, for instance, with that level sensing just to build a model for every home. So we have to think in terms of, okay, let's try with 1 home, 2 homes, or a selected subset of the homes, and then try your model and try to then to validate if your model is working with another home. And if it works, then you can probably deploy on many homes. But so we tried, and these are the results. If we try a model on 1 house and then we predict on the same, we get 0.7.8 accuracy, which is not great, but you know the problem is in the sampling rate, which is not great as well. But if we move, if we try to use the same model to another home, so we try the model in 1 home and we use the same model to predict in another home, we get a drop in performance about 0.45, which is probably not acceptable. So we needed to rethink, to reformulate the problem. So the idea was, okay, labeling all the homes is impractical, is impossible. But maybe we don't need to classify every single event. Maybe the user doesn't need to know that at 5 o'clock he took a shower. Maybe what is important for the user is just to know that for a given amount of time, maybe a week, maybe a day, how much water we used for showers, how much for toilet flush, and so forth and so on. So the point is, okay, if we can reformulate the problem in a less tight requirements, with less tight requirements, maybe we can use another approach which is not supervised, but is unsupervised. That means that in principle, the model doesn't learn from top-level sensing. It can learn from past data, its own past data. So, and we use a ground truth, of course, but only to validate the methodology, not to validate the the model. And we need a benchmark, of course, because we need to, to evaluate, to estimate if this approach is giving a better result than simply taking the statistics and the surveys from, I guess this is from Waterwise. Yeah. Thank you, it's very useful. And just use this as a benchmark and to see if our model, which is dynamic, can provide better results than a model, statistical model, which is static. So, okay, I don't have the time to go into many details of this unsupervised classification because, okay, it required a lot of time. So I go straight to the results, and the results are according to a metric, according to an error metric that say, okay, let's calculate the difference between the estimated volume for each class of usage and the real volume as is measured from our ground truth sensors. And so this error in practical is in liters or in percentage. So what we get is the benchmark is getting an error of around 40%. So 40% of the water is misclassified by the benchmark, and our model is misclassifying 10%. Which is good, which is bad, I don't know. This is the results, and of course, these results is coming not from, it's not a truth coming from the sky, it's just what our data set is able to provide us. So, we got a number of gadgets for practical implementation of this disaggregation component as a service. And so, the first, of course, you can understand, in the supervised models, well, they are the best in terms of the knowledge they can extract, but it's really unpractical and to wire all the houses. So, and the portability of models between different homes is still an issue. So this could be an interesting maybe line to investigate in the future. In terms of cost, probably, even if our model is getting only 10% error, the question is, okay, but there is a business justification for that. Well, ideally, if you implement as a part of an existing business case, so as a bundle, together with the smart meters and cloud services, maybe, yeah, you can do that. But to provide a solution per se, maybe it's not. And then, so the suggestion is to go unsupervised, of course. And another practical, finding is that is about energy and water nexus. So we assumed from the beginning of this investigation that, of course, energy is related to water. So we have to exploit this strong correlation. Well, data says a different thing, because maybe you can think that if you are using a washing machine, you can easily spot this in the energy time series. Well, if you have a smart meter giving you only one reading per minute, it's not that easy. And so you have to imagine that in modern houses, the appliances are quite frugal in terms of energy consumption, and there are a lot of appliances. So there is a kind of background noise in the energy time series. So it's very difficult. Of course, you can do that, and energy disaggregation is another huge field of research, but you need really to go with high frequency observation, and 1 per minute is not enough. So, what is really useful instead is not the correlation between the electrical power and the water flow, but the knowledge of when hot water is used. Because it's quite straightforward that a toilet flush is not using hot water, while maybe a bathroom tap usage maybe is using, or a shower, of course. So we got that if we know when hot water is used, we get much better performance in the prediction, in the classification, and also in the unsupervised model. So the point is how to get this information, how to get this knowledge that at a given time users are using hot water. In principle, you may need an extra sensor, or it depends, really case by case. For instance, in UK, there are many electrical showers, and this kind of appliance has a very, you can really spot in the energy density because they have a peak of consumption of 12 kilowatt, which is really something that you really can't miss. But in Europe, in Italy, in France, is different. For instance, in our pilot house, they have electrical boiler, but it is a tank with a refilling, so it's difficult to understand which is the relation between the energy used, because maybe it is used at 3 o'clock, and the water, the hot water, maybe is used 2 hours later. So, and also in UK there are also different ways to get hot water. For instance, using gas boiler. And in this case, if you want to know when the hot water is used, you would need to install some sensor in the gas line or to observe the gas line, I don't know. So in abstract, we know that the knowledge of hot water usage is very useful, but the very specific deployment depends case by case. And that's all. Questions?
Thank you. Do we have any questions?
Oh, sorry.
Did you think about looking at sewer flow from the house, both in terms of volume and temperature?
Sorry, say again. You look at what?
Sewer flow, so the flow of water out of the house, rather than in.
Well, it's something that you can find in literature and it would be really useful. But in our deployment was not really, well, it was something that we didn't take into account because we wanted really to go with the practical, existing, realistic smart meters that you can have. And so we did the assumption that you have only the water meter and maybe an energy meter. That's all. So, but of course, this would be really useful because there is a different latency time between the time you use maybe I don't know, the tap in the kitchen or the toilet flush. Of course, they have a different delay between the inbound flow and the outbound flow. So it would be maybe easy to spot which appliance or which water usage using the outbound flow. Yeah, of course, but it was not part of our, the design of our experiment.
I just say for the model that you built to predict the usage of water in different devices, is that right? And do you install any sensors in the home to see how much water they use?
Yes, of course. To build the supervised model, what we need is to collect information about when a given appliance, a given faucet, a given tap is used. You have to record this in which is called the ground truth data. And the ground truth, together with the data you want to observe, which is in principle the water flow, the inbound and the energy flow, they are the labeled data set.
Yeah, so for example, if you want to know how much water for the shower, how much water for the kitchen, and or the dishwashers and things like that, and so you have to attach the sensors to the different devices.
Yeah, the point is you can train a model, and then the model will be able to predict or to classify this, exactly this. Doesn't help?
One more question at the back.
Maybe we can talk offline.
I'm wondering if you either experimented with or considered whether user claim data might be useful particularly in the unsupervised.
The user what?
User claim data for figuring out what the ground truth is. So in the case where you have households who are using water and you're seeking to establish without doing very granular measurement which households did which things on which occasions.
I didn't get which is the claim data was in your diary. Diary, sorry. Okay. Well, no, for us was really completely out of the design of our experiments.
I think what
We wanted something really completely automatic without any intervention.
I think that he's been very kind in saying I forced him in not saying that I forced him to assume that we wanted something that was very low cost, non-intrusive, which included asking individuals.
Because there is no point in doing something just to get better performances in the classification. Because of course, you can get maybe 0.9999. It's not really a big deal, but the point is, okay, but we need to simulate a realistic environment. So, in our opinion, taking a diary is not part of the experiment.
And just from an ICT solution perspective, in the absence of someone in the domain saying to us, this is the value of giving this information to individuals, it's very hard to go and build a system. So we had to assume that that in a lot of cases there was a low value placed on the information. So that's why we kept saying, okay,